Most people have never heard of it, even though it affects millions of older adults every day. Families see it happening but rarely understand what it means. Doctors often recognize it only when symptoms have progressed. And seniors experiencing it frequently stay silent because they assume it is simply a part of getting older. But evening confusion, sometimes called sundowning, is one of the earliest and most revealing signals the brain sends when something is beginning to change. It can appear years before noticeable memory loss, years before anyone suspects dementia, and years before most people seek medical help. If you've ever noticed that you or someone you love becomes more confused, anxious, irritable, forgetful, or disoriented in the late afternoon or evening, this message matters more than you may realize. Because this pattern is not random, it is not just aging, it is your brain quietly asking for attention. And when you learn how to interpret it, you can take steps that protect clarity, independence, and quality of life long before symptoms worsen. To understand why this phenomenon appears, we need to look at what the brain goes through during a typical day. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, your brain begins working. It processes light, sound, memory, conversation, movement, emotion, and decision-making. Every task you perform drains a little more of your cognitive energy. That energy is not limitless. It is like battery power that slowly fades as the day progresses. In a healthy brain, the battery lasts until bedtime. In a stressed or vulnerable brain, the battery drains much earlier. As evening approaches, the brain is no longer operating at full strength, and certain functions begin to falter. At the same time, several biological shifts occur every evening. Melatonin begins to rise to prepare the body for sleep. Cortisol, the hormone that keeps you alert during the day, drops sharply. Blood sugar levels fall after hours without food. Sensory processing becomes more difficult after being active all day. And daylight, one of the brain's strongest orientation tools, begins to fade. A healthy brain adjusts smoothly to these shifts, but a brain under strain finds them overwhelming, and that struggle appears outwardly as confusion, forgetfulness, irritability, fear, restlessness, or difficulty understanding surroundings. This is why signs appear abruptly in the evening instead of gradually throughout the day. It is the moment when the brain's energy is lowest and demands are highest. Families often overlook this early warning because the person seems completely normal in the morning. They may be clear, focused, and independent. But as the sun sets, something changes. They might repeat questions, get lost in conversations, appear suspicious or anxious, forget where they are, ask for people who aren't present, or misinterpret shadows and dim light. These moments are easy to dismiss. She's just tired. He gets confused when he hasn't eaten. It's been a long day. But when the pattern repeats itself day after day, it becomes a meaningful signal. Evening confusion does not prove dementia, but it often reveals which areas of the brain are becoming stressed years before more obvious symptoms appear. Researchers describe evening confusion as one of the earliest detectable signs of cognitive vulnerability, not because it shows memory loss directly, but because it reveals that the brain can no longer maintain stable function once internal resources are low. Think of the brain as a cell phone battery. When fully charged, you can use every app smoothly, but when the battery is near zero, the screen dims, apps freeze, and performance drops. Evening confusion is the brain on low battery. It is still functioning, but no longer at full power. And when this pattern repeats consistently, it allows doctors and families to recognize that deeper evaluation and support may be needed. There are many possible causes for evening confusion, and understanding them brings both clarity and hope. Fatigue is one of the strongest triggers. The brain simply tires more quickly with age, especially if sleep has been poor. Reduced daylight also plays a major role. The brain depends on light to anchor its internal clock, and when the sun disappears, orientation becomes harder. Blood sugar drops can make confusion worse, especially for older adults who eat lightly throughout the day. Changes in melatonin and cortisol disrupt the balance between alertness and rest, making the brain feel foggy. Circulation issues, especially those associated with aging, can reduce oxygen flow to the brain late in the day. And sensory overload, noise, conversation, movement, unexpected visitors, or even clutter, becomes more difficult for a tired brain to process. None of these causes indicate inevitable decline, but all of them reveal a brain that is struggling under the weight of daily demands and needs support. Evening confusion is not a personality change or a behavioral problem. It is the moment when a vulnerable brain can no longer compensate for internal stress. Some families misinterpret these signs completely. They may think their loved one is being dramatic, stubborn, irritable, or intentionally difficult. Others see it as rudeness, depression, or attention-seeking. But the truth is far simpler and far more compassionate. They are overwhelmed. Their brain is asking for help the only way it knows how. Evening confusion is not the person's fault, and it is not something they can control through willpower or discipline. Their brain is functioning at its limit for the day. The good news is that evening confusion can often be reduced dramatically with the right support. Morning sunlight exposure strengthens the body's internal clock and improves evening clarity. Keeping the late afternoon calm, with less noise, fewer sudden changes, and predictable routines, helps prevent cognitive overload. Warmer, softer lighting in the home reduces disorientation caused by shadows. Eating small, balanced meals throughout the day prevents blood sugar crashes. Improving sleep quality gives the brain more evening strength. Reviewing medications with a doctor can reveal drugs that worsen confusion, especially sedatives or certain pain medications. Correcting vision or hearing problems reduces the brain's cognitive load. Gentle movement during the day improves circulation and cognitive stamina, and for many people, simply staying hydrated throughout the afternoon makes a noticeable difference. When evening confusion becomes a consistent pattern, a medical evaluation is essential. Not because the worst is guaranteed, but because early action is powerful. Many conditions that mimic cognitive decline are reversible. Vitamin deficiencies, thyroid issues, medication side effects, dehydration, sleep disorders, or poorly controlled diabetes. Even when cognitive decline is truly beginning, early steps can slow progression and preserve quality of life, sometimes for years. The most important truth is this: evening confusion is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of transition, a sign that the brain is asking for patience, protection, structure, and care. A sign that deeper attention may be needed long before crisis appears. And most importantly, a sign that families can respond with compassion instead of fear. Aging does not have to mean losing clarity, identity, or independence. The brain remains adaptable, even in later years. With the right guidance, routine, nourishment, and understanding, many people regain steadiness and confidence. Evening confusion does not mean the person you love is disappearing. It means they need you to stand beside them with understanding. It means their brain is whispering, "I'm tired. Please help me slow down." When you listen early, you protect years of clarity and connection. When you understand the signs, you replace fear with knowledge. And when you respond with compassion, you give your loved one, or yourself, the dignity, peace, and support that every human deserves. Your brain still has strength, your mind still has value, and your journey is far from over. If this video helped you understand evening confusion in a clearer and kinder way, please give it a gentle like so more families can find this important information. Your experience matters. Share your story or questions in the comments, because your voice may comfort someone going through the same thing. And if you want more calm, science-based guidance on aging with strength, dignity, and compassion, subscribe to Golden Years Wisdom. Together, we're learning how to support our minds, protect our memory, and live each day with greater peace.